All right, welcome to another DRMB podcast. Shifting gears tonight, we have the one and only Sean Allen, also known as Also Robots. And you've probably seen him on this podcast before. He used to be of Wargaming, but he has made big moves, and he is now with Blizzard, and he is a community manager for Overwatch, right?
Yes, a community manager. Yes.
How many are there?
It depends on how you look at it. I think we have maybe 7 people in community for Overwatch particular. I particularly am handling relationship management. So like a lot of the cool stuff that I was doing with Wargaming with influencers is going to be pretty much what I'm doing here at Blizzard. And thank you for the amazing introduction. My heart is so warmed. And it's just going to be us. It's just going to be a Sean on Sean.
Yeah, it's Sean on Sean.
Hot Sean on Sean action. That's
yeah,
all.
exactly. Hot Sean on Sean. That sounds really dirty, but we'll roll with that. We'll roll with that. So how long have you been there now exactly?
This is actually week 3 for me.
Week 3. So you are still green. You're still learning the trade secrets and everything else.
Very very much so. It's very fun to learn everything about the game, but it's also being a fan of the game and coming into it. It's just like having building a radar tower in Command and Conquer, where it's like you have all this fog of war and then immediately it's just all illuminated.
Dude, I love that. Red Alert, Command and Conquer, yeah.
Exactly, man. I'm just hoping nobody destroys my radar tower. But
wait, the radar tower, that was the one. Was that the super upgrade one where once you got that, the entire map became revealed?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's how it's been for Overwatch. It's been really exciting to just kind of learn what's ahead for the game and all that kind of stuff. But simultaneously with that, I'm also horribly terrified at saying anything non-disclosure or ruining any of the special stuff and surprises we've got going on. So I'm still getting used to handling that part of it.
Well, we'll be very delicate about that, and I'll make sure not to entrap you in any ways.
I'm just gonna be silent for the next 30 minutes. There you
go.
Exactly.
You're just gonna sit there so everybody can look at headquarters behind you. So,
right.
What part of Blizzard is that? What wing is that right there?
So this is behind me is building 2. I think we have 13 buildings.
So it's like an actual campus then.
On our main campus. It is. Just right over here, you've got a volleyball court. Beyond that, there's a gigantic statue. Every building has a bunch of statues in it as well. So it really is if you're a fan of Blizzard, it's like Disneyland. It's very fun. The other cool thing about being here is that there's tours going on all the time. A Boy Scout troop literally just walked by on a tour. So it's daily that you'll see tours, and I think that's part of what makes it so special to work here. Is just it's everything's always in motion, and there's always so many people here that are just excited to see the campus. But yeah, it's a sprawling campus. I think we have over 2,000 people on campus.
Oh wow!
So it's huge.
So you got multiple cafeterias. I was just getting ready to say you probably got multiple cafeterias, and you bring up food right there.
Right. We're in the process of building a brand new sprawling cafeteria. So right now they are bringing in a bunch of food trucks, which are amazing. So it's just it's a really really cool environment. I think it feels very homely in a way, even though everything is incredibly professional. But you come here and again, like I was talking before we started, it's hard not to just have gratitude and be really appreciative just because of how the culture is set up here. And it's just it's an incredibly fun and rewarding place to work. I say that in the most lull time, post BlizzCon for all of our products. So talk to me a month before BlizzCon and maybe I'll be like, oh my God.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's cats living with dogs. It's just pure insanity.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it so far, and your beginning steps there. That's really really cool. So let's talk about the game right now, the state of the game as it stands.
Okay, there's not a ton of stuff that I could say in an official capacity. I don't think actually there's really anything I would feel comfortable saying in an official
No,
capacity.
and I get that, and by state of the game, I mean just how long is the game out? When was the game released? Was it March?
May.
May. Okay, I
May.
knew one of those M months. I knew that. So we're coming
Yeah.
up on about 6 months right now. Then.
Right, yeah. So the game is still very much in its infancy. Um, I think it's just a testament to how well built and designed the game has been. That I have found like it really has ebbed and flowed for me, where it's just like there are some times where I'm like, man, I really like this game, and I'm playing other stuff at the same time, and then there are just like the last couple of weeks, it's just been nonstop playing Overwatch. But I think with like a lot of the new modes that have come out recently,
Yeah, the 3-on-3. Man,
3-on-3, oh my gosh,
I suck at that.
oh dude, have you tried 1-on-1 yet?
No.
Oh my god. Well, it's
Wait, what is it?
yeah.
Two roadhogs going at it? Is that what it usually winds
So
up
it's
being?
right. So it's mystery duel. So it
Ah,
basically randomly selects. It's best of five, or actually, I think it might be first to five. But I've had games where I've played people and they've made me look so bad that like I've walked away genuinely depressed about. um, yeah, and then 3v3 is great because I think 3v3 is a great entry into when you start to see the mechanics of the game from an esports level.
right.
When you watch esports people play, there's rarely a time when an attack is making an approach on an objective that you don't see 5, 6 people right there together
Right.
with each other. And I think that's like one of the really really cool things about watching 3v3 is if you're not if you're not paired up like that, then there's just no chance to survive.
So my first experience on 3v3, I had this little creepy kid just kind of whispering the whole time like this. And he's like, "We need a medic. We need a medic." And I'm like, "This is 3 versus 3. You don't need a medic."
Aha,
And then
aha. But
well, Roadhog is self-medicating, and you've got
right.
Soldier 76, of course. He's kind of a useful medic, I'd say. But
I have seen Roadhog played more than any other character in 3v3.
it makes
I
sense.
don't.
You're looking for health pools. You're looking for a lot of health and a lot of
I
the
mean, he's
ability to
got
tank.
right, and he's got a little bit of everything. The chain hook to be able to separate people. Like that's what's really been killing me in 3v3 is running way too far out ahead, getting
Yeah,
chain hooked, and then
through a
focus.
wall, through
You're
a
done.
wall. Chain and
Actually, it's hit detection stuff. But yeah, there's definitely merit to like Mercy. I think is great because if you can get her ultimate in a match, you're unstoppable. Because you're gonna wait until two of your teammates die and then revive them both. Her ultimate is fantastic. Zenyatta's got a little bit of ability when it comes to doing stuff. Uh, but yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I've got a core, I think, 4 characters that I feel comfortable at playing.
yeah.
And
Who are they right now?
so before I got here, I just played Bastion because it was very simple for
Oh,
me.
oh man.
He's a great character. As the meta game has evolved, I think people have to be a lot more creative and savvy with their placement. But I still is one of my favorite
For
characters to
me,
play.
Bastion is one of those players that if my team is in a rut or we just cannot break through or we can't defend or there's an issue, I'll switch to Bastion if they don't have a Genji. And usually you'll tear it up for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then Overwatch is like a continuous game of chess. It's like
Right,
if you
right.
don't change your player, you're either winning and you don't need to, or you're doing something wrong when you're losing and you really have to.
That's like, I think what the beauty for me about watching Overwatch as an esport is that you see this because the teams are so talented. You see this kind of just boom, 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 and they're like smashing against each other, smashing against each other. And as they're doing that, there's also the level of like discovery and trying to figure out, what are we going to switch to? Who are we going to switch to that's going to break that deadlock? And it's so fun to watch in esports, just that happening in real time and that planning happening in real time. And I think that, it's something that's a little bit unique for a game like that, where it's like with League or even with Heroes, you're locked into your character.
Right.
And you build that strategy in a very, not static, but like you just build what your strategy is going to be. In Overwatch, it could change at any moment. And I think that that's one of the really, really cool things about the game, is discovering like, we need to get behind our opponent. But maybe going with Tracer's a little bit better than going with 76. Maybe 76 is a little bit better. Now Sombra, like Eichenwald has a really hard choke. And I've noticed that a lot of people like to press the point, or like to press you as you come out. And if you can get behind them and stretch them, it's just like so much easier. Picking the right hero to do that in the right situation. I love the metagame of it, and being able to read all of those different things.
Well, and for me, I think I probably played Tracer more than any other character.
Oh yeah.
I just, and really, she is kind of the face of the game. I mean, that goes without saying. But I just think she's a lot of fun too.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean I'm stuck on her. There's other characters I like. I like Sombra lately. I've been playing her a decent amount, trying to figure her out. She's got some really, really cool abilities that I think the game really needed. I kind of wish some were a little more effective. But no, she's neat, and that minigun. I mean, it's pretty cool too. The Uzi or pseudo Uzi or whatever it is. What do you think of Sombra right now? Have you played her much?
I think it's really it's cool to watch how things evolve from going to like the public test server on PC, and how people play it on the PTR versus like when it hits mainstream, and how that's kind of handled. Because I think PTR, the public test server is free. You can download the client and get on the PTR. But usually you're seeing a lot more not necessarily skilled, but like you're seeing very dedicated and very, very people that are into the details of a lot of stuff.
You're getting the better players.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to watch how the meta gets played at a more competitive level versus a little bit of a more casual type of level. But I think that my favorite thing with Sombra is like, as long as you are not really trying to start from the top, as far as damage goes, and like, oh, I'm going to take down a Roadhog, or I'm going to take down a Diva. But if you're looking for the final focus and chipping damage off of people, she's great. But she really works well with a team that's going to communicate, because you have to be able to be like, we need to focus Roadhog, or we need to focus this person. Because if not, it's just kind of everybody's shooting in any given direction. I actually find her to be, very mobile. If you know how to throw that translocator and move around the map, it's incredibly fun to play her. But it's just nice to get a character in there that's like incredibly effective from the jump at what she does, and at executing what she does.
No, I find with her that she's very good at she's an infiltrator. I mean, that's what she is. And she's very good at getting behind the enemy, flanking behind, both with her stealth ability and then that translocator. I mean, so many times, I mean, using stealth, you can get behind people. And I'll find myself shooting Junkrat in the rear a lot. Or Roadhog, not Junkrat, Roadhog, which is very nice, just because he's slow and he doesn't know you're there.
Right.
But the cool thing about her too is, though, that translocator lasts 10 seconds, so you can plant one behind the enemy team, attack from the front, and when things don't look like they're going right, boop, I'm gone. Yeah, boop. There you go. Boop, I'm gone. And how about that? That's another thing. Blizzard is just so good at bringing characters to life. I mean,
Right.
instantly that intro video for Sombra it was awesome, but they made a memorable character right off the bat that just people are going to fall in love with. They're going to want to play her and everything. It's just amazing what Blizzard does at that level. They're masters of that.
I love at BlizzCon they started playing like the first 6 months of Overwatch video, and then it just like slowly started digitizing and cutting in, and then they went into the short. I think that's something that I can speak to internally without getting into details, but I've seen firsthand here, the care that people take with the characters, and it's just there's so much love and passion with every single one of these characters, and it really does. It's weird. It really does feel like they're real people, and it sounds so cliched to say that, but when like there's so much identity here and understanding of that identity, and I think internally. They're just as excited about presenting this stuff to the greater team as they are to the community, and that is, gets you incredibly excited. So it's not a place where everything is kept in these little silos.
Right.
You do get to share an experience, not just what's coming in the future, but sort of the identities of what's come before. And it's just really, really fun to be able to play in that world and be able to sort of grow and build that world. And I think that's one of the really cool things here too, is that, it's very open in how you could pitch ideas and interact and engage with people here. I don't think that there's, in 3 weeks, I probably am not going to be like going up to the developers like, here's what I think you should be doing.
I want this character.
Right.
I think this is the next hero
I
for the
drew
game.
this doodle on a bar napkin. But there is
Call him Stickman.
Yes, exactly. But there is absolutely a level of everyone here is so passionate about the identity and the identities of the characters, that everyone works creatively in that space. So it's very unique and very, very exciting to be a part of that. But yeah, I think Sombra is an incredibly well done character. Tracer, like you said, is I love playing that character so much. I love playing it on console because my aim is not great when it comes to PC.
Yep.
Sometimes I play Soldier 76 so embarrassingly on PC, where it's like I just fired 25 rounds and maybe landed 2 on someone.
Nah, he's easy. I like him because he's just that everyman. I got a buddy who just started playing, and he's like,
Right.
yeah, I like Soldier 76, and I'm like, well, that's kind of what he's there for. He's the bridge for people playing the games like Call of Duty and Battlefield and all those. He's the bridge to get into the game because he most resembles those type of games, and then it's a gateway drug. Once you get him, once you get past him, it's like this whole world opens up of players with different abilities.
Yeah, I mean, he's always the first person I say, like, if you want to try the game and you want to kind of just see what it's about, because anybody can hop into 76 and at least feel halfway competitive in a match, even if they're not 100% certain what's going on. There's still many characters that I see played, and it's like exactly like I was telling you about. I got a skateboard, and like you see people riding a skateboard, and you're like, I could do that. And then you get on a skateboard, and you're like, dear God, I'm going to die.
Yep.
And with like Lucio, I see some people play Lucio at such an elite level.
Oh, Lucio is so much fun, though. He's another one of those characters that's just an absolute blast. That they just nailed the character on that. Right. Just so much fun.
And yeah, I mean, it's just like I see so much meta technique where like there's this guy DSP Stanky, who he was playing Lucio on console and was getting like so many kills, and he made a video, and the PC community was like, oh, you never do that on PC. And he was like, oh, really? And so he got into PC and then just started climbing up the ranks. But one of the things that I saw that he's doing is like You switch from speed to healing, not just because you want to go to healing, but because it creates a variance in how fast he's moving. So essentially, you're getting another way to jump and have your target not be able to track you effectively.
Oh.
But it's so cool to see players figure out that and try to build and
Yeah,
sort of
they
break that meta
make their way with it. Yeah, that's interesting. So speaking of other characters, another character is getting a pretty big buff coming up soon, right?
What?
Symmetra, right? She's getting a little bit of a buff, right?
I don't know if you would. I don't know exactly what it would be called. She's getting another ultimate.
So you don't. So have you played the new? I haven't played it. She's available right now on the other server, right?
Yes, you can play. The new ultimate Symmetra with on the PTR server right now.
Have you played her yet?
I have watched enough.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really cool and unique. One of the things that I think it presents as an interesting kind of new wrinkle to the meta is that when you drop that shield generator and you're on offense on a final push, nobody is ever going to go back to find where that shield generator is. So you basically can have it for the final push of the game, and the other team's really not going to go back past the final push point to go and destroy that. I think the other cool thing, specifically that it opens the door for is like multi-ultis, like to have now a character with two ultimates. It opens the door for so much as far as what you can do with the meta of the game. And I think that's part of the greatest challenge, but also like the most exciting thing about Overwatch is that I play Rainbow Six Siege all the time, and it's like you have to be playing that game constantly to figure out what the meta is, and it's very nuanced. It's not really like surfaced. Whereas I feel like you can play, you don't have to know what meta is, and you can play Overwatch and be like, oh, if I chain these two things together, then this will work. So it's much more simple in how it's presented, which I think is really just exciting for people who want to understand how to become more competitive at a game, but don't necessarily know what the process is to learning that and growing and experiencing that.
Right. So in addition to that little change, not necessarily a buff, but the extra ultimate. Well, she's getting a couple more of those little tractor beams, though, I think, that I absolutely can't stand. So that's a little bit of a buff, but competitive's getting some huge changes too, right?
A little bit. I wouldn't feel necessarily comfortable speaking to that.
Okay.
We could talk a little bit about Oasis if you want.
Okay, so all right, so yeah, all right. I've read competitive game mode is getting changes. I don't know the source, so then if you can't talk to it, it probably wasn't an official source.
I think season 3 launched today.
Yeah, so. That's what I'm talking about. Season 3, it got some pretty big changes, right?
Some of the ranking stuff definitely changed up. Yeah. I haven't dove into the specifics on it at all yet, though.
Okay, so that's out of your AO at this point.
Dude, let me tell you, I play casual all the time, man.
I play casual because I don't like the way. All right, so my biggest gripe with competitive is in the pre-ranking. Those 10 games, you can be gold, 10 games in a row, lose every single one, and it just shuffles you to the bottom of the pile. Which, personally, I don't think that's fair because that's not taking someone's skill into account. It's like saying, "Hey, you're an awesome player, but your team didn't win, so."
Right.
We're not going to put you with the good people. We're going to put you with the sucky people and let you be miserable.
I mean, and I think that's part of like the growth process to, bridge that gap. And that's, part of what I'm really interested in focusing on here as well is, when you get into competitive mode, it's really difficult to play when you don't have a team that is synergized or at the very least all communicating with one another. it's super difficult to play. It's like when you hear NFL players talk a lot about the regular season versus the playoffs and the speed and the intensity being two completely different things.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt when I started playing competitive mode. Was like, okay, I understand this game, and then the speed just moves so much quicker, and everyone is so much more well synergized. But I think that's the process of learning, how to bridge that gap between the casual play in the game and the competitive play.
Yeah.
And I think from like a influencer perspective, it's really important to me that we have, a lot of people that are in the process of making that journey, right? So there's a lot of, esports pro players. We have a lot of streamers that, if they wanted to, could get into the esports scene. There's so much high level play out there. And there's a lot of, casual people that just kind of want to play the game and be entertaining. But there are a lot of people as well that are just kind of on that path where it's like, I want to get better at this game. I want to learn how to get better at this game. And now I just, I want to grow within that. And so that's what I'm really interested in finding and hopefully being able to showcase here is just people that you can watch and learn from and grow from, and also feel a part of that growth and that journey. It's just exciting to now, dude, like when we were kids, man, our parents, you tell your parents you want to be in the games industry, and they're just like, that's not a thing that you can do. That's really dumb. Like, be a lawyer.
Yeah.
And as time has gone on, it's like, okay, no, but there's a lot of these industry jobs, and like, you don't have to just be a developer. You can work in community, or you can work in marketing, you can work in PR.
Yeah.
And now it's like the legitimate full realization, which is like, you can pick up a game and play it and do that full time. And like, you don't even have to be involved in the creation or the design or any of that stuff. You
as
can
a consumer.
Right. And I mean, I think if you look at just what was revealed with the Overwatch League trailer, you can kind of see the beginnings of like, it's weird because it's kind of like, if someone introduces a new sport, like let's say racquetball just came out and got really hot and everyone was like, I need to watch racquetball 24/7 and we need to start a racquetball league and we need to figure out like the world racquetball championships. Like, that's a sport being created. I feel like in the space of esports themselves, it's almost like the creation of the concept of sports. And I know that's like a really high thing to say, but like it's so much different, and it's now creating this whole new world where you look at like companies like Tespa that work with colleges and esports communities and building esports communities in colleges, and you've got other companies that do job fairs that are not built around just playing esports, but other jobs, team manager. Like, I was talking to somebody today who's going to school for something really interesting and was like, I want to figure out, because teams are going to need this thing, how I can get that involved in what esports is doing. So it's really fun to see. And I love football. Like, I will always be a football fan, but I think if you look at the numbers and the ratings of a lot of stuff, it's just interesting to see, the younger the age goes, the more into esports and competitive gaming it seems like people are.
Yeah, completely. It's like, that's exactly what it is. Your older age, my age group, the 35s and above, we're always going to love, NFL, baseball, and everything else. And I really can't. I can't get into esports personally and watch it just because I don't associate with that age group. It's a lot of younger players with different attitudes, and I'm starting to feel like my parents, probably how they looked at me when I was listening to Nirvana and Soundgarden back in the day. They're like, "What the hell is this crap? This isn't
This is the devil's music."
Yeah, exactly. The power of Christ compels you, and they're like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "This is awesome. This is," and it wasn't grunge in the beginning, and then they termed it grunge, and that was it.
Right.
And it's the same way now. It's I'm part of the older group, and there'll be some of us that do like esports and follow it, but really it's that younger crowd that,
Right.
I always say, man, I wish I got into YouTube when I was in college. I don't even know if it was around back in
Yeah.
2001, but it's just like, generation gap. But this generation right now, these high schoolers and everything, this is like the video game generation as far as esports and YouTube and everything else. And I guess the downside to that too is it's probably going to be harder for a lot of these younger people to break through in some ways as well, especially in like YouTube, which God knows how much longer that's going to be around for. I mean,
Right.
it's going to get harder and harder, but while that might be harder, there's going to be more opportunities elsewhere,
The
like
audience is
esports,
just
which
going to
is,
be,
yeah, esports
yeah,
is growing. So, yeah, you can't get in here, but there's an avenue for you to go here. So it's interesting how that's happening.
very much so. I mean, it's, when I was working at IGN, I went to IPL, which was their pro esports league at the time, and I had never seen a MOBA played in my life. And I had a really good friend of mine sitting next to me who was big into Dota, and just started explaining it like, hey, this is what it would be in basketball terms, and these are kind of like the lanes, and like this is like your power forward type of character. So like once that I had that kind of baseline in my head, it was much easier for me to understand the game. It's going to be interesting in a decade or so when like we have to explain football to people in the esports scene in the exact reverse way.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
okay, this quarterback is a running quarterback. He's a lot like Tracer. Like, so
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
gonna be really interesting to see and watch that shift.
So,
Uh,
someone's asked a question right here. They said, after the success of mini games like the Olympic soccer, do you know of any plans to kind of incorporate more of that at either the base game level or esports level or anything else? And personally, I enjoyed the Lucio soccer mode. That I thought that was a lot of fun right there. And and that's just another case of Blizzard just adding something for the hell of it in there
right,
and just doing a really, really good job at it. So
right. Yeah, I mean that's not really something that I could speak to or comment on.
yeah,
The team is incredibly creative. So I don't think that there's going to be any shortage of those creative ideas
sky's the
uh,
limit.
existing. Very much so.
Very
But
much so.
nothing that I could really comment on there at all.
All right,
Um,
let's throw in a couple other questions I saw
all
in
right,
there. Then
I've got 7 minutes.
7 minutes. All right, we can do this quick. All right.
7 minutes in heaven.
What other character would you like to see have a
Nothing
second ultimate?
Ooh, that's a good question. Hmm. Oh, I gotta think about this for a second. Whose ultimate do I not really care for? I'd like to see Reinhardt have a second ultimate.
I can see that.
I,
I can see that.
I think that there are some characters that almost exist as two-way characters. And I mean, there's, like I feel like Reinhardt is a character that you can play offensively. You just have to be in the right situation and you have to really know how to play.
You know what I'd like to see for a second ultimate, and Blizzard pay attention? His shield, instead of just covering that forward part, have it go 360. Just for
That would
about
be
30 seconds or so, have a 360 shield that extends around everyone so they can group on you. Lucio goes bam, and you just attack the objective. There you go.
or just give him like a full 1,500 hit points on that
Yeah.
full circle. Yeah, I would like to see. It's something that you're never going to see. You're always going to see, I think, more synergy and more
Yeah.
synergy-minded stuff because that's realistically where it makes sense to go. But I feel like Reinhardt's Earthshatter is very synergy-driven.
Yeah.
And if you don't have, it's very like Zarya's in that same way. If you don't have another complementary, at least character there, I love playing Reinhardt Bastion with Earthshatter because you just Earthshatter people and then it's
Reinhardt or Bastion, yeah, it's so dirty. It's just your typical Bastion Reinhardt combo.
Yeah.
You were talking about Oasis earlier because I know you're running short on time, and Oasis
Right.
is new and shiny. Can you say anything about that or explain it or?
People really like getting hit by cars.
Yeah, I've seen videos of that and
People have a
GIFs and everything else.
strong love for getting hit by cars. No, I mean, from a personal perspective, I think it's one of the most beautiful maps that we've ever done.
What does it play similar to, would you say?
Huh. It's a control map. I mean, there's not a lot that's like it. It's got a lot of really unique stuff. It's got a jump pad. It's got the cars, obviously. And I think that those two things alone create a very, very different feel to it. I think people have to play for themselves and kind of decide for themselves,
Gotcha.
but it's pretty unique from the other kind of stuff that we have.
All right, another question, which I don't know if you're going to be able to speak to this or not, and you probably aren't, but we just had our Halloween stuff coming. Can we expect anything for the, I guess, December holidays, to be politically correct? I'll call it Christmas on my side, but can we expect anything there?
That's something I can't comment on.
Yeah, I figured.
Really at all.
Can you pass on to Blizzard? I really want like a Tracer Santa's helper outfit, please. Just, throw that out there. That's what I want to see.
I will go into to Greg Blizzard's office right now, and I'm going to say, Mr. Blizzard.
Greg Blizzard. Tracer Santa's helper. Everybody got their their witch costume. I want Tracer Santa's helper.
That everybody's like all about that witch costume.
Yeah. Well, it was popular, but personally, I thought Junkrat's was the best out of the group. I love the
Thriller 76 is so cool.
Yeah, that's cool too. For me though, Junkrat's just fit the character perfectly. The mad scientist and everything. Yeah. That was just really cool. So
and I think that's what's cool about having characters that have a very pronounced identity to them, is that there's so much flexibility in that sense in the pop culture sphere.
Yeah. So I know you're running out of time right now. Is there anything else you can throw out there, or anything you'd like to people watching? Let everyone know again that you're the go-to for kind of the influencers. So if anyone's interested, is there a way they can get in contact with you, show them your stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you can always hit me up on Twitter. Is probably the best place to do that, at also robots. That is my Twitter handle. I love and again, that's why I love this role so much, is I just love people. And I love talking to people and getting to know people. So
are you looking for Twitch specifically, Twitch, YouTube, or
pretty much everything?
So since you like Bastion, you can watch my admissions of Bastion ad. That might fit.
You're gonna have to send that to me.
Yeah, it's actually funny. But okay, so people can contact you if they think they've got interesting and exciting stuff.
And I think that's the coolest thing about the game, is that it really extends beyond like, I'm going to do a Twitch stream, or I'm going to put up YouTube content. We've got incredible cosplayers. We've got incredible artists.
That's the other thing that you mentioned cosplay. It's just like it's a whole world. It's a culture.
Right.
It's the best way to put it. A culture.
It's a totally fully realized ecosystem. The epic rap battles. There was one just a couple days ago with Reaper versus Soldier 76.
Was it really? I haven't seen that yet. Oh awesome. My gosh!
And then the other cool one, I'm blanking on the name right now. It's gonna kill me. But they did a Sombra Starboy parody song, and now I can't sing Starboy without using those lyrics. So it's just there's so many talented creators.
Yeah.
I saw something on Reddit the other day that someone created their own like Mario Kart for Overwatch. So there's just
no kidding.
Anything that you're passionate about when it comes to the game. Obviously we want to create opportunities to showcase that, and we want to create opportunities to evangelize that, and really build that greater community. So I guess that's the biggest thing that I want to get out there, is that I think it can be very intimidating when you look at I've got to be lyric, or I've got to be like one of these big, but you really don't, and there's space to grow, and there's space to kind of explore and create and play, and not necessarily be like, I want to be a streamer. I just want to create artwork. And now with opening the door for a lot of these relationships positions here at Blizzard, we really have the ability to take the time and the care it deserves to grow people's channels and help them grow and help grow their platforms wherever those platforms are going to be.
Yeah.
If you have interesting Overwatch stuff that you don't feel like has been seen before, or even if you have something that you're like, hey,
as long as it's not Rule 34 stuff. I see what you said there, Pun.
And I'm gone.
Yeah, I see what you said there.
Right. We want to be able to showcase that, and ultimately our visibility of that is going to be the most important thing. So
because you're also, unlike most first-person shooters out there, you're also geared towards the younger. It's not an MA-17 game, so
I would say Overwatch is one of the more accessible games out there. As far as multiplayer shooters go, I'm biased, obviously. I think it's the most accessible. I think we're a game that extends over, races, genders, cultures, and it's so, fully realized in that sense. That's the very, very exciting part to me, is that, we can have and be a part of a game that, if I am growing up and I want a character to emulate, there's going to be a character that is like me within the game that I can emulate. And because I'm totally robotic and dead inside, that is obviously Bastion.
Yeah, exactly. Also robots, that's
it works. It's all
Bastion. It's perfect for it. So well, hey, I know we've run short on time for you, but I really appreciate you coming back on.
Anytime.
Yeah, hopefully people have learned something. We'll throw this up on YouTube, so get the word out that you're out there, and you're a good contact for people looking to get into it. You are out there, so but always a pleasure having you on, and hopefully down the road, before you're too famous, we can have you back.
True.
Yeah.
You know what, dude? I feel dumb now because I should have worn my No Zoop for You t-shirt today. And I didn't, and I'm an idiot, and I hate myself for it. But I will tweet a picture of it soon.
All right.
I'm gonna get next to a Tracer statue with the No Zoop for You.
Oh man, yeah, please do that. Do you have like a giant size statue there?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, give me one of those small ones. I love those things. Those things are awesome.
They don't even give me one of those, man.
Yeah, I know. They probably sold out of those. Those went they came out.
Yeah.
The Reaper one's awesome too.
The Reaper one is
so good with all those.
Available for pre-order now.
There you go. Yeah, I flashed it up there. $199.99.
I got a plug in there. That's all I needed.
Yeah, there you go. You've done your job.
Yep, there we go.
You're making the company money. So hey, again though, Sean, we really appreciate it. So it was great seeing you again. Thanks for coming on, and we'll catch you later.
Take care, man. See you later.
All right, we're out.